Welcome back to the Business Book Club. Today, we're diving deep into a book that really aims to change how you think about building things that last.
That's right. We're looking at Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy by Patrick Bet-David.
It's got quite a hook, that title.
It really does. And the core idea is pretty compelling. The most successful business leaders, the real empire builders, they think like grandmasters in chess. They're not just reacting, they're mapping out several moves ahead.
And Bet-David argues that thinking exactly 5 moves ahead is kind of the magic number.
Yeah, that's his take. It strikes a balance, enough foresight for solid strategy, but still agile enough so you can pivot when you need to. It keeps you grounded in action, not just lost in long-term planning.
What I find interesting is his backstory. This isn't just theory for him. Patrick Bet-David, he started out in debt, faced a lot of skepticism.
Absolutely. He built a major financial services company, PHP agency, pretty much from the ground up. So he lived this stuff.
And he really emphasizes that this way of thinking, this 5 moves ahead approach, it isn't some innate gift. It's something you can learn, a skill you can actually cultivate.
Exactly. And his own story is kind of woven through the book, which gives the advice a lot of, credibility. So our mission here is to unpack the key concepts, the really practical lessons from your next 5 moves.
Right. We want to pull out those strategic nuggets you can start thinking about, maybe even applying in your own business or career, like right away.
Okay, so where do we start? The foundation. Move 1, essentially.
Which is all about knowing yourself.
Yeah, it sounds almost basic, like personal development 101, but he insists it's absolutely crucial. Without real self-awareness, none of the other strategies, the team building, none of it really lands properly.
The core question he keeps coming back to is, who do you want to be?
And that's a big one. Answering that honestly, or even just wrestling with it, shapes everything else, your drive, your vision, what you're really willing to commit to.
It's not just a business goal, is it? It's deeper than that.
Definitely. And he frames it as a process, not a destination. It's okay not to have the perfect answer immediately. The key is the commitment to figuring it out, to studying yourself.
He mentions things like a personal identity audit.
Right. Basically a structured way to look at your strengths, weaknesses, values, even how past experiences have shaped you. He argues this kind of self-study is the path to overcoming those internal barriers, the ones maybe you don't even see clearly yet.
Now, building on that self-awareness, there's this concept that really stood out to me, using pain as fuel.
Ah, yes. This is powerful. It's not about wallowing in negativity. It's about taking those tough experiences, rejection, failure, being underestimated, even shame, and transforming them
Into motivation.
into rocket fuel, as he calls it, taking that negative charge and channeling it into relentless drive. He points to examples like Barbara Corcoran using anger for resolve, or Michael Jordan finding motivation in slights.
And his own experiences too, right?
Very much so. He shares stories of being put down, underestimated, and consciously deciding to use that as energy, as fuel for his mission, rather than letting it break him down. It's about choosing your response.
So you own how you react to the pain and you make it work for you.
Precisely. It's taking responsibility for your internal state and not letting external stuff dictate your trajectory.
Okay, so once you have that foundation of self-awareness, fueled maybe even by past challenges, what's next? Where does he guide you?
Logically, it flows into choosing your path, your arena, and then building the team you need. For choosing the path, he uses this great poker analogy. Game selection. Meaning, don't just jump into any game. Find the market, the industry, the specific niche where your unique strengths and the market dynamics actually give you an edge. Play where you have an inherent advantage.
That really pushes back against the idea that everyone has to follow the same ladder, like the standard corporate route.
Totally. He champions entrepreneurship as a really valid and powerful alternative.
So being an entrepreneur within a company.
Exactly. For people who have that drive, that innovative spark, but maybe don't want to start completely from scratch. An entrepreneur, in his model, thinks like an owner, acts with urgency, protects the brand, innovates, all within an existing structure.
And what drives them? What are they looking for?
It's usually more than just salary. They want recognition, sure, but also autonomy, resources to make things happen, and real sense of ownership over their projects. Companies that figure out how to nurture that are the ones that stay dynamic.
Whether you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, though, you can't go it alone. He's pretty clear about debunking the myth of the solopreneur.
Oh, completely. Building the right team is non-negotiable. And he has this interesting take on attracting that team.
It's not just about the formal benefits.
Not just that. It's the overall benefits program of being associated with you. Do people actually grow? Do they get better by being in your orbit? Is your reputation one of elevating people? That's the magnetic pull for A players.
That really broadens the idea of company culture and leadership.
It does. And the core of any high-performing team, any successful organization, is trust. He uses this visual of trust is a pendulum.
A pendulum, how so?
It swings. People aren't just trusted or not trusted. There are levels. He outlines 4. Unknown, then endorsed, meaning someone you trust vouches for them, then trusted. And finally, running mate, your absolute inner circle, the people you'd go to war with.
And building that trust, getting people to that trusted or running mate level, why is that so critical?
Speed. It all comes down to speed. Trust eliminates friction. When you trust your team, decisions happen faster, execution is smoother, you're not wasting energy on micromanagement or constant verification.
Makes sense.
And he adds, maybe counterintuitively, that even experiencing betrayal, while incredibly painful, can actually help you refine your system for judging trust. You learn the warning signs better.
When you're leading this team, it's not just about generic motivation tactics either, right? He emphasizes getting specific.
Yes, this is really practical. It's almost like applying the love languages concept, but in a business context. You need to figure out what specifically makes each individual on your team feel valued and driven.
So, not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Definitely not. For one person, it might be public praise. For another, it's quality one-on-one time with you. So yes, linear growth is often your standard business development, sales efforts, building relationships, closing deals one by one. It's essential, but it's often additive 1 + 1 = 2.
And exponential growth, that's where the big leaps happen.
That's the goal. He points to 2 main drivers for that: innovative campaigns and developing leaders.
Give me an example of an innovative campaign.
Think about Bally Total Fitness shaking up the gym industry with zero-down memberships. Or Continental Airlines, years ago, tying employee bonuses directly to the airline's overall on-time performance metrics. Those weren't just sales tactics. They were strategic shifts that created huge, nonlinear impacts.
And developing leaders.
That creates leverage. When you develop leaders within your organization, you multiply your own capacity. They can then drive initiatives, build teams, and generate results exponentially. The real challenge, he notes, is constantly balancing your focus and resources between those necessary linear activities and the exponential ones that drive future scale.
It sounds like managing all this requires a really crucial skill. Effectively processing issues, making good decisions under pressure, avoiding panic, or getting stuck.
Absolutely critical. He defines processing as really rigorous mental analysis. It's about digging down to the root cause, he calls it, solve for X. Then thinking through the potential consequences of different actions and logically sequencing your moves.
And what's the single most important ingredient for effective processing?
Taking responsibility. Full stop. You have to start by asking, okay, how did I contribute to this situation? Blaming others, complaining, making excuses that just shuts down your ability to find real solutions. Ownership opens the door.
He shares a very personal story about suffering from panic attacks, right? Linked to indecision.
Yeah, it's quite powerful. He realized his panic was often triggered by not having a clear way to work through complex problems. Developing a reliable, repeatable methodology for processing issues was what ultimately brought him peace of mind.
So it's not about always being right, but having a system you trust.
Exactly. A system. He mentions practical tools, like the rule of 3. Always brainstorm at least 3 potential solutions. Don't just grab the first one. And also this investment time return, or ITR framework.
ITR.
Investment time return. It forces you to analyze decisions not just based on the potential financial return, but also the time investment required, using realistic assumptions. It adds another crucial dimension to decision-making.
The lawsuit example he gives really illustrates this processing in action.
It does. Instead of just reacting emotionally or panicking about a major lawsuit, he went through the process. What could he control? What were the likely outcomes of fighting versus settling? He made a calculated, though painful, decision to settle, which ultimately protected the business long-term. The clarity came from the process.
Okay, let's connect this to data and momentum. He's big on the Moneyball concept, right?
Very much so, like the Oakland A's in baseball.
Yeah.
Don't just rely on gut feelings or metrics that look good, but don't actually drive results. Use data. Track the key metrics relentlessly to understand what's truly happening in your business.
Find the signal in the noise.
Precisely. Identify the leaks and trends early. Data helps you diagnose problems you might otherwise miss, like bottlenecks in your processes, or maybe talented team members who are underperforming because they aren't being utilized correctly. If you're not the data person, he says, hire one. Find your Paul DiPodesta.
And as you use data and strategy to build momentum, things can feel chaotic.
Oh, yeah. He talks about being prepared for chaos. Rapid growth often feels like everything's breaking or falling apart. The natural tendency is to pull back, to try and regain perfect control.
But he argues you need to lean into that feeling.
Yes. Manage the chaos. Don't be paralyzed by it. Understand that feeling is often a sign you're actually pushing the boundaries and growing significantly.
Which ties directly into the need to stay paranoid.
Sounds intense, but his point is that business is competitive. He even says business is war. Complacency is deadly. You have to constantly be vigilant, scanning for threats, watching competitors, anticipating market shifts.
He uses the Fortune 500 churn as an example.
Right. Look how many giants fall over time. It's often because they got comfortable, they stopped being alert. His mantra is basically, stay alert, stay alive.
Let's shift gears slightly to the final core area, power plays and influence.
This is about understanding leverage. He emphasizes that having options is the key to maintaining power in any relationship, business, or personal.
Like the story of Bobby, the guy whose business nearly collapsed because he relied on just one huge customer.
Exactly. That lack of options gave the customer all the power. You always want to cultivate alternatives.
He even suggests studying mobsters, which sounds a bit edgy. What's the takeaway there?
Yeah, it's provocative. But the lessons he draws are about preparation, negotiation tactics, and understanding leverage in high-stakes situations. He stresses meticulous preparation for any important meeting, knowing your goals, anticipating the other side's needs, even scripting and role-playing.
And a key principle in negotiation.
To get, you have to give. Always lead by showing the other party how they will benefit from the deal or interaction. Frame it around their win. He gives an example of negotiating with an insurance carrier, where he started the whole conversation by outlining exactly how the carrier would come out ahead.
It builds goodwill and changes the dynamic.
Completely. And he connects effective selling to conviction and a transference of feeling. It's not about slick manipulation.
Like the Zig Ziglar cookware story.
Classic example. If you genuinely deeply believe in the value of what you're offering, you feel almost a duty to help the other person see that value too.
Yeah.
That authentic conviction is what truly persuades and influences people.
He also stresses that power plays real influence. It's a long game.
Absolutely. It's not about quick wins or extracting something immediately. It's about building relationships, providing value up front without expecting an instant return. The story he tells about helping Eli, a fellow prisoner years before that connection paid off unexpectedly, really highlights this. Don't make an ask on the first date, so to speak. Build the relationship equity first.
And managing your own ego becomes critical, especially as you gain success and power.
Crucial. Success can breed isolation, and he argues isolation is dangerous. You become vulnerable. You need alliances. You need a trusted inner circle, people who aren't afraid to tell you the hard truth.
He references Robert Greene's Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous.
Right, and think about historical examples like the complex relationship between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, or even Amazon partnering with Toys R Us strategically at one point. Sometimes you need to put ego aside and form alliances for survival or growth.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. If we boil down the actionable lessons from your next 5 moves, where do we land?
Well, it starts with that unflinching self-awareness. Really grapple with who do you want to be, and learn to transform setbacks, that pain, into unstoppable fuel.
Then, choose your battlefield wisely game selection, whether you're starting something new or driving change from within as an entrepreneur. And build your core asset, the right team.
And building that team means really seeing individuals, understanding their unique motivators, building trust step by step, knowing it's that pendulum. Then master strategy. Balance the necessary grind of linear growth with those big exponential leaps through innovation and developing your people.
Don't forget processing. Develop that muscle for analyzing issues rigorously, always starting with taking responsibility. Use frameworks, seek clarity, build that methodology you can rely on.
Be data-driven. Adopt that Moneyball mindset. Track what matters. Find the leaks, stay ahead, and embrace the chaos that comes with pushing forward, but couple it with constant vigilance. Stay paranoid, Stay alert.
And finally, understand power and influence. Know your leverage, cultivate options, prepare like crazy for important interactions. Always lead with value for the other person and sell from a place of genuine conviction.
Play the long game in relationships, manage your ego fiercely, build your alliances, and make sure you have people who will tell you the truth.
It paints a picture that building anything truly significant isn't just about having a great idea or raw talent. It requires this constant application of strategy, discipline, resilience.
And being driven by something bigger than just yourself.
Which brings us to a final thought, something to chew on. Think about Andrew Bynum, the former NBA player.
Yeah.
Immense talent, incredible physical gifts.
Huge potential.
Huge. But arguably, he never fully realized it, largely due to issues around consistency, discipline, maybe applying the right strategic mindset day in, day out.
It's a tough comparison, but it makes the point. Raw potential alone isn't the answer.
So the question for you listening is, what raw potential might you be sitting on in your career, your business, your life, because you haven't consistently applied the kind of strategic thinking, the discipline, the processing we've talked about? Where could your next 5 moves take you if you truly committed?
Something to think about.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into your next 5 moves. If you found this useful and want more insights from essential business books, make sure you subscribe to the Business Book Club.
We'll catch you on the next one. Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.